Welcome back. This is the Cryptoviser podcast, and today we're going to be talking about Render being chosen by Apple. Apple is using the Render network. We just did a video called Exploring Render. Is this a good investment? Go check it out if you haven't already. But in today's video, we're going to be exploring Apple using the Render protocol. Internet computer staking has now been surging. Bitcoin mining stocks are outperforming as the crypto markets are kind of sideways over the last few months. We saw really a major move to the upside in most cryptocurrencies from about October of 2023, right about here on the charts, all the way up to about March and April, when we started to see some corrective moves or moves to the downside occurring. Now, with some cryptos, they've just kind of been stable, right? We haven't really seen a floor getting a floor formed or any major capitulation event, which I believe that we were going to see. But now we're past the Bitcoin halving, and there is still a lot going on in the economy. The Federal Reserve is indicating that they are quantitative easing in some ways. They're reducing their balance sheet at a slower pace. The Treasury is buying more debt, which this is all quantitative easing. It may not be what we saw in previous cycles, but it is still that. And so I do think that we are still right now post-halving going to continue to go straight up over the next year and a half, although that straight up movement may not occur for many months. And so we have to understand what's going on from the macro standpoint. As you guys know, the Bitcoin ETFs, there was a lot of excitement about this at the beginning of the year, and there should have been. But remember what I explained on my videos back then is that these Bitcoin ETFs are basically bailing out all of these failed Bitcoin companies from the last cycle, like FTX, like Gemini, Earn through Genesis Trading and all of that, right? They're buying those Bitcoin that these failed exchanges had on their balance sheets, and now Wall Street owns it. And we're hearing from Bitwise CEO, this is one of the Bitcoin ETF issuers with $3.5 billion in assets under management, that a lot of traditional and reputable firms have started engaging with Bitcoin in a way that they never have before, but so few are saying anything about it. He says banks are reaching out to us. Now I'm going to play you guys this video because I think it's important, right? Wall Street is in control of this cycle. That's the bottom line. And granted, they're probably not buying many altcoins here or many coins that you hold or hear about or, are excited about. But we know that Bitcoin is the indicator for the rest of the market. If Bitcoin goes up, the rest of the market and proxies for Bitcoin like MicroStrategy and the Bitcoin mining stocks also go up. And so we're going to be discussing a lot of that in today's video. We also have Internet Computer, the Render protocol, and more in just a few minutes. But let's start here. And don't forget to give this video a free thumbs up. If you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to do new things on this channel, kind of give you guys more condensed, good information over the course of, this cycle. And remember, nothing I say is financial advice. These are just my opinions. I could be wrong about anything and everything that we discuss, but subscribing definitely helps the channel. Anyway, let's listen to the Bitwise CEO. Going to be playing this at 1.5 speed, and let's listen in.
To join the company. So there are people who have backgrounds in open source software development and cryptography, and there are other people who have decades of experience in ETFs and asset management, and then we try to build that team. So our capital markets team already has relationships with most of the APs. It's a relatively small world, and we go out and we approach the ones that are some of the most accomplished. I think public names are Virtu and Jane Street. Macquarie is a public name on our fund. There's another AP on our fund that is definitely a household name bank, but we have been asked not to mention. So there's still a range of people's comfort in the public forum, but we go out and we try to recruit the best counterparties. And I will tell you that before the Bitcoin ETFs launched, for those of you who don't know, again, I mentioned Bitwise strives to be a best-of-breed specialist in this space. The same way you would think of Apollo in private credit or Brookfield in infrastructure or Blackstone in private real estate. We're purpose-building for this space, but we're not Fidelity and we're not BlackRock. So we had to do a little bit of begging for people to take us seriously. That changed after the launch, and we started to have inbound from some firms that wanted to join us in AP. So I guess I just can't emphasize enough. I think that the Bitcoin ETFs have really brought Bitcoin into the realm of possibility for a lot of traditional financial institutions to the point where, for the first time in 6.5 years, we have banks reaching out to us looking to be an authorized participant on a Bitcoin fund.
So again, AP is authorized participant, and this was from the Bitcoins for Corporation conference that MicroStrategy hosted in May of 2024. Now, keep in mind, guys, all of what we've seen at the beginning of 2024 with the Bitcoin ETFs launching and all of the buying of the initial like seed funding for these Bitcoin ETFs, a lot of this was just getting them up to speed, right? Getting these ETFs in line, getting them trading, getting volume, getting, people speculating on it and all of that. We haven't seen major companies at least stating that they are buying into these funds. Obviously, we know that they are, but to what extent? I think that as we see the Federal Reserve quantitative easing and the economy kind of loosening up a little bit, whenever that happens, if it ever happens here in the U.S., that's when we are going to start to see even more money flowing in. And once these smaller companies or smaller institutions or smaller funds see that the large ones are actually buying into it, right? And that they feel comfortable putting these Bitcoin ETFs on their balance sheet and putting them in their funds, I think that we're going to see a mad rush going in. And it's not just Bitcoin, guys. Just to kind of clear the air, I am very bullish on crypto, but we are now entering the middle of 2024. We don't know when the Federal Reserve is going to cut. And even when they do cut, there is a lag time from when they do start cutting rates until we start to see, the markets improving significantly, right? So everything that the Federal Reserve does, there's going to be a delay, maybe 1 month, 2 month, 3 month. I would say within 6 months. So I'm not anticipating major moves in the crypto markets until towards the end of the year, end of 2024, especially as we get closer to the election cycle. And obviously, as many of you probably know, this is becoming a campaign topic as we've been predicting for the last 4 years, that this cycle is going to be the crypto cycle. And there's going to be a line drawn in the sand from candidates, whether they support crypto or not. We just heard that Donald Trump is supporting crypto, and he said that he will end hostility towards crypto. So many single issue voters that have never voted Republican in their life, they're going to be voting that way, right? And we see what's happening on the other side with the SEC and the Biden administration kind of pushing back a lot over the last few years on cryptocurrency. So as we approach the end of the year, I think that's when we're going to see major moves in crypto. But this kind of opens the door to, well, what do we do until then? Well, a lot of people are anticipating that we're going to have a DeFi summer or an altcoin summer. Whether we do or don't, I don't know. I mean, based on the previous cycle, we didn't see major moves to the upside in most of these cryptos until the end of 2020. Are we going to follow that same cycle this time? Who knows? Who knows? But what's very interesting is what these Bitcoin mining companies are doing, the stocks, the publicly traded Bitcoin mining stocks. Matt Siegel, who is the head of digital asset research at Van Eck, he said on X, Core Scientific, the #1 Bitcoin miner by number of coins, say they may convert 500 megawatts of energy, 40% of their existing power capacity, to AI, artificial intelligence. This says every $1 million per megawatt is saved in CapEx, which is like budgeting, represents $100 million in construction, saving on a 100 megawatt data center. That's $500 million in value. And the current market cap of Core Scientific is $618 million. Now, just to kind of translate that into regular English, essentially Core Scientific is saying that they're going to take some of their fleet, right? Because keep in mind, Bitcoin mining processing is very similar and can be somewhat converted into AI compute. And so a lot of these Bitcoin mining companies are saying, okay, if we have to shut off our machines because it's not profitable because the Bitcoin price hasn't adjusted yet to the halving, and energy costs are going higher or whatever, where can we make more money on the equipment and the capacity that we have? And so some of them are switching some of their business into AI and the other part of their business into Bitcoin mining, which is smart, right? Diversifying their business structure. Now, we've talked endlessly about Core Scientific. I have re-entered it into a position in Core Scientific now that they're out of bankruptcy, now that we are past the April unlocking. I think April and May, it was large quantity of shares were getting unlocked from the post-bankruptcy agreement. And so I was a little bit nervous about that. But we're now past that, right? Like I always say, you have to be able to pivot your investment thesis and strategy based on the market that's in front of us, not the market that we want, right? A lot of people are like, but Cryptoviser, why are you stopping, you're stopping coverage on Cardano? Cardano is going to be the best performing. It's like, well, it's not the best performing. It's actually the least performing. XRP in the same situation. And so I'm looking at the market in front of me, not the market that I want. And that pivot away from Cardano and XRP coverage has a lot to do with that pivot, right? Being able to pivot my investment thesis, being able to pivot this channel's coverage of what is important to my viewers, right? My viewers want to learn how these markets work, how to, grow their wealth over time, how to secure their financial future, how to analyze in a different way how these markets are operating, right? Not that it's financial advice. This is just we're just discussing what's going on, so you're getting a different perspective. And there's still people that are like, no, but Cryptoviser last cycle, Cardano did this, last cycle, XRP did this. And it's like, okay, well, we're not in last cycle. If you're still living in the last cycle, you're going to lose. You are going to lose. And so, yeah, we're in this cycle. And so part of that pivot is being able to readjust. And so I've re-entered a position at Core Scientific. I've told you guys before they even came out of bankruptcy that I think that it's going to be at least $1 billion company. $670 million when I'm recording this video. And they're valued at $500 million more now that they have AI compute. And once they get the AI data centers up and running, think about where their market cap is going to go. And most people don't even know about this yet. And it's not just Core Scientific that's doing this. There's other Bitcoin mining companies that are doing it as well. But I wanted to kind of just highlight that. Now, Matt Siegel, remember, Van Eck, right? This is one of the large financial institutions. And just to show you guys, Van Eck, Associates, they bought 524,000 shares of Hive Digital Technologies. Now, Hive is a Bitcoin mining company. And so he said, to be clear, I think that most Bitcoin miners will handily outperform spot Bitcoin through the year end, through the end of 2024. He says, and public filings do show that Van Eck increased their holdings in Bitcoin miners year to date. This is mostly the result of inflows into DApp. I don't know what DApp is. Let's see, DApp, D-A-P-P. Oh, Digital Transformation ETF. So I guess Van Eck is buying the Bitcoin mining companies through their ETF. Makes sense. But anyway, he posted this, which shows that ETF, Van Eck Digital Transformation ETF, DApp ETF, which you guys can buy if you want. I mean, do your own research. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just showing you. They own, these are all the companies that they own. Block, which is Square, that's Jack Dorsey's company, Coinbase, TerraWolf, MicroStrategy, CleanSpark, Marathon Digital, Cypher Mining, Bitcoin Group, Bit Digital, Hut 8, all of these, right? And so as I've been explaining, I agree. I agree with Matt Siegel. I believe that these Bitcoin mining stocks are going to outperform everything, including altcoins, because, I mean, I don't want to bring up last cycle again because I just kind of made fun of people who bring it up last cycle. But anyway, we're going to do it anyway. If you look at the big Bitcoin mining companies like Riot Platforms or Marathon Digital, during the last cycle in 2020, before most of the altcoins started pumping, the Bitcoin mining stocks did a 20x. And through the entire cycle, from the Bitcoin halving till about a year, maybe a year and a half later, 40x. Now, keep in mind, I'm not anticipating a 40x in these Bitcoin mining stocks necessarily, because there's a lot more of them now. They're more diverse. They're more distributed across the board. But I'm very bullish. And obviously, so are these ETFs, and so are these large financial firms. Here's another one. Hightower amasses $68 million in Bitcoin ETF stakes. So they're already piling into Bitcoin ETFs. We're already starting to see piling into the Bitcoin mining stocks. And this is, again, before the Federal Reserve starts to cut rates. Once they start to cut rates and money starts flowing and people start getting excited and we start hearing more and more about these Bitcoin ETFs, guys, the future possibilities, I mean, literally are endless. I mean, Hive is one of them. And look at Hive. I just want to show you this. Hive blockchain, which, by the way, Van Eck just bought 524,000 shares of at $2.36. That's about, do the math on that. Where are we? Yeah, that's about $1 million, $2 million, if I'm doing the math right. Anyway, you can see here Hive is at yearly lows, right? You can see the year range is $2.18 to $6.84. We're at $2.35. So we're literally at yearly lows, and it's only $347 million Canadian, which is about $275 US. We also have Hut mining, right? Hut 8. Hut is another one, very excited about. I mean, literally, I'm more bullish on these Bitcoin mining stocks than I am on pretty much almost every single crypto, to be honest, at least in 2024. Because again, I think most of the gains that we're going to see are going to happen towards the end of 2024 into 2025 for crypto and altcoins. I could be wrong about this, but I think that's kind of based on previous cycles and based on kind of the Federal Reserve and kind of where the money's flowing. That's how I see it happening. And so crypto is a little bit still separate. It's somewhat correlated to the stock market, but it's somewhat separated from the stock market. So some of these companies that want to get gains that they may not get in Tesla or Apple or any of these companies that are just not producing anything. I mean, remember, Apple just announced the largest stock buyback ever in history of the world, $110 billion. They could literally buy up, I mean, some of the largest companies in the world with $110 billion. But instead, they're laying people off and then taking $110 billion and instead of reinvesting in the business, they're just buying back stock. And by the way, they just released a new iPad. And guess what's new about the iPad? They have 4 new colors. Wow. Wow. I mean, it's so sad that people are still buying these devices thinking that they're like the greatest new thing. And it's literally the same thing as the previous iPad. There's no new technologies. They're like, well, we moved the camera and now we have an Apple Pen. A pen? That's the revolutionary thing of 2024. $110 billion in excess cash they have, and they created a pen. Okay? So from an investor like myself and speculators alike, they look at that kind of company and they're like, that there's no money left there. They've given up, right? They're not even reinvesting and creating better products. They're just buying back their stock. $110 billion last year, $90 billion. The year before that, $80 billion. So that's not investable, right? So if people want to make, and plus it's like $3 trillion is the market cap. So how much higher is that actually going to go? So when you're looking for like potential to make more money, right? And I'm not talking about individuals, I'm talking about companies and sometimes individuals, right? They want to make returns on their investment. And if you just look at these Bitcoin mining stocks, I mean, just at the beginning of the year, look at how high they were, $18. It's more than double where we are right now. You have Clean Spark. A lot of people love Clean Spark. I don't really like it too much because it's very high market cap. Riot Platforms. We've talked about Griffin Mining. I'm very, very bullish about Griffin Mining because number one, it's a micro cap stock, right? Under $100 million. They have a lot of cash on hand. I just watched an interview the other day with their CEO. And keep in mind that a lot of their executives at Griffin Mining are executives from Riot Platforms and Marathon Digital. So while there's other companies like Stronghold, SDIG, and possibly Grid, GRIID, these are also microcap Bitcoin mining stocks. But these, I believe, are going to be Stronghold. I think that these are going to be purchased or acquired by other companies. I mean, Stronghold has already announced that they're looking for a buyer. But the difference between these and Griffin Mining is I don't think that executives would exit Riot and Marathon, create a new company that does Bitcoin mining just to go sell it. I think that Griffin Mining wants to buy some of these, and that's what their CEO has already stated, that they're looking to buy some of these other Bitcoin mining companies, data centers, et cetera. And so I think that they're going to try to create another Marathon and Riot platforms. And so if Griffin Mining is, under $100 million, $60 million right now, and they want to become a Marathon Digital. I mean, if you look at Marathon Digital's market cap, $5 billion. That's a 100x just to get where Marathon Digital is. And I think that they can do that, especially that they're kind of, they went on the stock market at the beginning of 2024, right before the Bitcoin halving. They have a lot of, from what they say, 100% renewable energy that's used for this for their Bitcoin mining. They have a much lower cost basis for mining Bitcoin than many of the other Bitcoin mining companies. So I think they're well positioned to do excellent. Whether I'm right or wrong, I guess only time is going to tell, but that's kind of where I'm at. And so, yeah, I'm very bullish on these Bitcoin mining stocks, right? Tether bought another $650 million worth of Bitcoin in Q1. They now own $5 billion in Bitcoin. So we're seeing people are like, oh, well, when are the governments going to start buying Bitcoin? It's like, they already are. BlackRock is the government, right? They're buying Bitcoin because they see that these other companies in other parts of the world, other countries in other areas of the world are buying it. And yeah, Susquehanna International Group added $1 billion in Bitcoin ETFs to their portfolio in Q1 of 2024. So we're already, before the Bitcoin having even occurred, we saw all of this inflow going in. And so now we're in a little bit of a lull, a little bit of a break. But that doesn't mean things are not going to get heated up. I think it's really all just kind of determining or waiting on when the Federal Reserve is going to actually pivot. And this brings us to Apple, what we were just criticizing with their lack of innovation. But I guess they still do have some innovation. Octane X was featured in Apple's keynote address to their shareholders. Apple's users can augment the massive increase in rendering power on the M4 chip with access to near unlimited high performance decentralized GPU compute power on the Render network using Octane X. Render also said Octane X is Render Network's app in the App Store, and Render Network, or Render Token, is the decentralized GPU network. So just to kind of level set that so you understand a little bit more, but this is where it was in the presentation. And I'm gonna show you guys this video from the beginning of May. 4 performance cores, 6 efficiency cores.
Delivers up to 50% faster CPU performance over M2 in the previous iPad Pro. The next generation 10-core GPU architecture includes powerful features like dynamic caching and brings hardware-accelerated mesh shading and ray tracing to iPad for the first time.
There they go talking about the iPad, right? New colors. I mean, it is more powerful, but is it really? I'm going to go buy a new iPad because it's more powerful than the previous iPad? Probably not. But again, you can unlock the power of Render through this through their technology. Let's continue listening.
So games like Diablo Immortal look fantastic, and pro rendering apps like Octane will flat out fly with up to 4 times faster performance than M2.
So you guys heard that right here. This is the part where they featured Render.
Fantastic. And pro rendering apps like Octane will flat out fly.
So there you go. We just did a video on Render the other day. It was called Exploring the Render Network. Is it a good or bad investment? Something like that. And I would definitely recommend watching it. I mean, I do think that Render is going to perform well this cycle. We're seeing an initial kind of pump up after this news that Apple is using Render right from the $7, $8 range. I think that's when my video came out, all the way up to $11. So about I don't know, is that 30% increase, 40% increase in just a few days, few weeks. But I do think, generally speaking, under $10 may be something to keep an eye on, especially that what we were just talking about at the beginning of this video, right? AI compute, decentralized compute, sharing of more compute power. This is becoming more and more important in the world of technology, and especially with AI integrations, it's going to be continuing to increase in the need for higher compute and more distributed compute power. That's just kind of my view on it. I'd love to hear yours down below in the comments. Don't forget to give this video a free thumbs up. Now let's talk a little bit about Internet Computer Protocol. Another coin that I am, an ecosystem I'm very bullish on, right? They're, I think, the most best positioned out of the top 30 cryptos for AI, for compute, for transaction processing. And so there's a new milestone in since January 2022. So just a little bit over 2 years. The network nervous system, which is basically the core of the Internet Computer, has added 60.5 million ICP coins. This is the staking process. This is a testament to the commitment and governance of Internet Computer participants. And that's about 2.16 million ICP coins per month added to the NNS. Now you may be asking, Cryptoviser, what is the NNS? I definitely recommend watching my other Internet Computer videos, and specifically the ones on staking, and those will definitely help you understand a little bit more. But now you can see that the Internet Computer, they are updating slightly. It looks like they're updating their dashboard with more data and more visuals so that you can really understand where the network sits and how strong the network is. Now, if you click on neurons, this is the internet computer version of staking. Internet computer utility holders, utility token holders, can stake their ICP within the neurons of the NNS, or network nervous system, the core of internet computer, to engage in network governance and earn voting rewards for their participation. Neurons are called not dissolving by default. In order to unlock and withdraw the token, a token holder must completely dissolve their neuron. The period of time over which this occurs is called the dissolve delay. Basically, how long you're locking your coins for, right? That's the dissolve delay. So when you hear somebody saying, oh, I'm on a 5-year dissolve delay or a 6-year dissolve delay, that means that they're locking their coins for that period of time. Token holders can increase the dissolve delay at any times, but neurons always dissolve in real time, meaning you can't speed it up. I get a lot of questions about this. Cryptoviser, should I lock my coins in? Personally, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I don't believe in lockups of coins because I believe that having the liquidity is super important, right? I talk to a lot of real estate investors who tell me, oh, Cryptoviser, this is the best investment that you can make. And I'm like, how so? Oh, because the value of properties always go up and you're getting income from. I'm like, yeah, but what if you don't? Right? I mean, I know people who just recently sold their home and they couldn't sell it for years, literally. I'm looking at real estate on some of these apps, right, that show you the real estate around the country. And some of these properties, I mean, they look really nice and they're just sitting on the market for years and years or months and months. That's not liquid, right? That's not a liquid investment. So people are like, yeah, but Cryptoviser, you could just rent it out and somebody could, live there. It's like, okay, but what if they don't rent it out? And then you're just sitting on an empty property. I mean, look at Florida. Florida is a great example. People are paying $20,000, $30,000 per year just on taxes, property taxes, and they can't rent their home. And they can't even rent their home for the amount just to cover their taxes, let alone their mortgage as well. So I don't believe necessarily in locked staking, right? That doesn't mean that's not right for you. A lot of people, as you guys can see, a lot of people are locking their coins for a long period of time in the ICP ecosystem. That's not for me. Whether it's for you, you obviously have to make that decision for yourself based on your own investment portfolio. But right now, you can see almost over 137 million internet computer coins are locked for 8 years. That's a long time. That's 2 cycles. But listen, this is part of the security of the network, right? And this is part of how the network operates. One of the reasons that I was, very bullish on Cardano when they released staking was because Cardano was the first real staking ecosystem, right? The first real liquid staking ecosystem. And, now I don't know that it even matters because all the cryptos have liquid staking to some degree. And you can see that the rewards rate is really now what matters. That's what matters. I mean, it really is. People will say, but Cryptoviser, yada, yada. It's like, it doesn't matter, guys. Like, I don't really understand how internet computer rewards work. I never really fully understood that. Like how much these stakers are actually getting for their rewards. Obviously, I probably have to do more research on my end for that. But if you guys have any insight into how ICP staking rewards work, please let me know down below in the comments and link me to anything that would help me understand that a little bit more. Let's see if it's actually on stakingrewards.com. It is. And they're showing 10% reward rate. But again, how long do you have to stake to get that reward? I don't know. But we'll do some more research and I'll put out another video on that at some point in the future. But yeah, it's showing 10% reward rate, but the real reward rate is 2.87%. So I don't know how they're getting these numbers, but obviously we'll get you guys answers on that. But either way, it doesn't matter. I mean, the staking ecosystem, this is so last cycle, right? This is a way to help secure the network. Staking is very important for these blockchains. It is. But these blockchains that are continuing to push, oh, but with Cryptoviser, we have liquid staking. This is the best staking in the crypto ecosystem. It's like literally nobody gives a shit. Not one person except for that community gives a shit. Because every other crypto you can stake with. And a lot of these cryptos you can stake at a much higher reward rate than most of these legacy chains. I mean, Avalanche, it's not a newer chain, but it's like newer in the top 15, 8%. This is more than double Cardano, more than double Ethereum, more than double Binance, right? More than very close to Solana. But this is why people are moving to these other chains to stake, because it's cheaper. I mean, sorry, it's higher rewards. And people are going to say, but Cryptoviser, it's higher rewards, but it's not as secure, it's not as good, or it's not going to perform as well. It's like, nobody cares, guys, right? Like, people want to make money. People want to make money. It's incredible. Most of the ecosystems out here understand that, right? I mean, Ethereum, yeah, it's about creating a new financial system, but people also want to make money, and people admit that. Solana is clearly about making money. Cardano, they're like, but Cryptoviser, you're clearly not here for the right reasons, because we're not here to make money. It's like, why would you buy a coin, right? Why would you buy a coin and not want it to go up in value, right? From what I understand about people who are staking for 8 years in ICP is that they believe in the ecosystem, and the rewards that they make from staking are unlocked, right? So they can withdraw their rewards, from my understanding. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's from what I gathered. And so they're going to take those rewards and do whatever they want with, whether they restake it or what. I don't know why the ICP dashboard is not pulling up, but you guys kind of get the point. So yeah, there's a lot going on in crypto. I do think that until the Federal Reserve cuts rates, we're not going to see major movement. I think that what we saw from October till the March, April timeframe with crypto was, I think that a lot of it was anticipation that the Federal Reserve was going to cut rates in March or April, and they didn't. And now we're moving into June. Whether they're going to do it in June or not, I don't know. I mean, there's a possibility they're not going to cut. But I think generally speaking, the play in my investment thesis, and again, not financial advice, I could be wrong, is Bitcoin mining stocks. And the window of opportunity for that is closing very rapidly. And a lot of the reason I say that is because a lot of these Bitcoin mining stocks, they're reporting earnings in May. And a lot of them are not only reporting earnings, but they're giving forward guidance. This is what we plan to do for the rest of this year and into 2025. This is what we're doing from an AI perspective, new Bitcoin mining machine perspective, buying or selling or hodling the coins that they make. Like Griffin Mining, for example, their CEO said, the Bitcoin that they mine, they look at it as working capital. They're not trying to hold it for the long term, where other Bitcoin mining companies, they are holding their Bitcoin. These are different strategies, and there's different reasons why you would have that. A small company like Griffin Mining, it's probably smart not to just hodl their Bitcoin, because they're trying to time the top or bottom of the market for a small company like this. Their goal is to expand and grow at a very rapid pace. Within a year and a half, I expect them to grow substantially. Now, maybe I'm going to be wrong on this, but that's kind of where my investment thesis is from these Bitcoin mining perspectives. It's not just Griffin Mining. We've gone over a lot of the Bitcoin mining companies. There's at least 15, 20 that are publicly traded. And, we're in the bull market, guys. Whether we feel like we're in the bull market or not, we're in the bull market, right? The Bitcoin halving has occurred. So the clock has already started to the bear market. A lot of people are just thinking about bull market. When are we going to be in the bull market? I'm already thinking about the bear market. You know why? Because if you have that insight, like we're getting closer and closer to the bear market, right? Yeah, a year and a half away, maybe 2 years away from the actual bear market. But understanding that, you don't just sit around and say, well, I'm going to wait to see what happens. I'm going to wait to see if, Griffin Mining goes higher. I'm going to wait to see if I should buy Render. I'm going to wait to see if Solana does well. Oh, but I'm just going to hold Cardano for the bull market. Like all of these theses and strategies have to change, right? Those are bear market strategies. Now we're in the bull market, and we need to be ready to sell when we think that we've had good gains, whatever that is, right? Maybe 10x, maybe 5x, maybe 2x, maybe 100x, who knows? But remember, Wall Street is in control, right? Because all they got to do, and we've already seen them do it, in the beginning of May, they started selling their Bitcoin in these ETFs. And what happened to the price of Bitcoin? It went down, not by much, but it did go down. And that, in my view, was Wall Street testing, right? because they knew when they were buying the Bitcoin, the price was going up. But what would happen when they sell? Can they push the price down? And they were able to do it. So now Wall Street knows they control everything. And the reason they control everything is they control Bitcoin. So if they push Bitcoin up, the rest of the market goes up. If they push Bitcoin down, the rest of the market goes down. If they keep Bitcoin sideways trading, which is what is happening right now at least, the rest of the market is sideways trading. Now, there is obviously arbitrage opportunities here, right? The 2, 3, 5% moves in the market, right? This seems like a small amount to crypto people, but in traditional finance, 2, 3, 5% moves are big. Wall Street is in control. So we have to watch what they're doing with Bitcoin, what they're doing from their inflows and outflows of the Bitcoin ETFs, and this will give us an indicator what's going to happen in the rest of the market. That's my view, my opinions, my strategies. I could be wrong. Do your own research. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Give the video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and remember, crypto on.